Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise and myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 56, where today we're going to review the Highland Park 18-year-old, which is the middle whiskey in the core range for Highland Park. Now, if you haven't seen my past two videos, be sure to check them out. It will be the 12 and I believe the 15, which will be over here. But I'll just show you this one rather quickly. Now, it's a pack I picked up. Now, if you have seen the last two videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it does contain the 12, the 15, the 18, 25, and the 30. And picked this up for £30, which is an absolute steal on this, because considering the 25-year-old cost 30 by itself, I effectively got all the other jams in there for free. So I'd have a recommendation, have a look on this one online. You can pick them up on I believe, Amazon. And then also, I think some specialist whiskey retailers do sell it. And I think Master Malt do it occasionally. So you might be lucky to find it on there. So I poured myself a dram of the Highland Park 18, which you can see over here. And I'll begin with my review style structure to begin the review. So to start off, the age of this whiskey is 18 years old. The ABV on this one is bottled at 43% ABV. So a little bit stronger than your regular, the 12 and the 15, which are bottled at 40%. In terms of the cask selection used, they're using European sherry oak casks, which is different from the 15, because the 15 they do use American sherry oak casks. This is more or less, I'd say, the elder sibling of the 12-year-old, because they use exactly the same cask, just longer maturation. In terms of the actual distillery, it is the Highland Park Distillery, which you can see over there. They are owned by the parent company, the Edrington Group, which also own Macallan and Glenrothes. And in terms of the region in Scotland, it is based in the islands of Scotland. So it's actually based Northern Point in the Orkney Island, which has another distillery there, which is the Scapa Distillery. So two distilleries call the Orkney Island home. So anyway, let's begin by then looking at the actual price point of view on this whiskey. And I haven't picked a picture of the bottle yet. So there we have the bottle. It's pretty much just a bigger version of this, but they are going to rebrand it very soon. So do keep an eye out for that, because the 12 does look really cool in its new bottle. But you can expect this now from the new 18-year-old, which should be, hopefully we might see it very soon, the artwork for it. Now, price point, it is £100 to I'd say £15 for the full-size bottle, depending on where you look and when the offers are on. If you do see anything cheaper, you could be seeing yourself a very good buy. Now, in terms of exclusivity-wise, it's not exclusive. It is available globally. And in terms of caramel color, this is all natural whiskey, so no caramel color is added to it. It is pretty much, as you see it, is how it came out the cask. So, I just want to quickly also mention, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, be sure to do so. I'll leave links here on the screen to my social medias. And also, share this video and give it a massive thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you're new, because you are going to see literally lots of different whiskey reviews. We're going to have some Paul John from India. We're going to feature also some Glengoyne, some Glenfarclas. And if you have any whiskey recommendations you'd like me to review, by all means, just feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll work my way through them. So, let's begin by assessing the color of this one. It does have a darker color compared to the 15, but it's a little touch darker than the 12, actually. I'm going to see if I can take myself out of the screen over there. But yeah, that's why I've got a white background so you can see the back. I'm going to go with the burnt amber on this one, because it does have a little bit of a darker sort of coppery note. So burnt amber is what I will go with. So next we'll move into the assessment on the nose. So into the nosing. To start off on the nose of this whiskey, it's so gorgeous. You've got that nice little soft peaty note on there, but then you're getting a nice sort of sweeter note in sort of heathered honey. A little bit of that sort of spice toffee, which is really sort of almost creamy on the nose, which is very surprising. And the sort of spice I'd say that's combined with the toffee is more towards, I'd say, black peppercorns. So you've got those sort of poked into your toffee and you're taking a bite out of that, but you're getting sort of the notes of it more or less on the nose. It does have a very sort of aromatic nose. And the more time you give this one to sort of open up, it'll just develop and it'll breathe and take in and just give you a little bit more of those different characters the longer you leave it. I'm getting also a slight sort of sweet salted caramel. And this one's different, because before in the 12 I'd get sort of that sort of salty coastal breeze, but this one's like a combination of sort of sweet and salt, but more in like a sort of dessert term in terms of salted caramel. but sprinkled with a little bit more sea salt over there. Just very surprising. I was waiting for that. So it's actually like salted caramel sprinkled with sea salt over the top, and then stewed fruits develop right behind that. A little bit of plums on the end. So anyway, let's move into the palate for this whiskey, and let's see what notes we can pick out on the palate. So to begin on the palate for this whiskey, really lovely palate for this one. Starts off with a medium full texture and really develops the longer you keep it on the palate. Now you are greeted more or less with spice and a little bit of very faint peat. You actually wouldn't even notice it sometimes, but then it just sort of shows up, and it's that sort of, again, a very soft style of peat, not heavy. The creaminess and the sort of mouth coating, sort of oiliness almost, the way in which it goes everywhere and coats the mouth very well. Really, really enjoyable on this whiskey. The spices you get to start off with is more like allspice, a little bit of sweeter spice in terms of cinnamon, and a very sort of sweet note that develops of chewy toffee. As if you're literally biting into it, that's sort of like the texture as well. I love this because this one is giving lots of texture notes as well. I'm going to have a second sip, see what other notes I can pick out. I'm also getting a slight sort of floral note behind that, and the stewed fruits. So from the second tasting, wow, I love this texture on this palate. The stewed fruits are there. You're getting sort of stewed apricots, peaches, a little bit of plums with the skins. So it's giving a little bit of a slight soury, bittery note. It reminds me a little bit of like a sort of, also even spiced marmalade, so to speak. But then I'm also getting a little burst of salty character. Ever so gentle, and the way these all combine together, just really, really great stuff. So let's move into the finish and then come to the overall conclusion for the whiskey. So I'm going to finish off all of this for the next one. So into the finish. So into the finish for this whiskey. A very nice long finish for this one, the way in which it sort of stays around the palate. The way I describe it is very bold, very well-rounded, sort of all those flavors in terms of those fruity stewed fruits and those spice aftertones which just sort of stay around the palate, and including that little light peat. As that sort of fades off with the spices, you're left with just sort of a very nice sweeter stewed fruits notes, which are just sort of there lingering around the palate. Really great stuff. So I'm going to give my rating for this whiskey, and this is getting a really, really good rating. I actually might knock that or this. I'm going to put that to the side. But I'm going to give this one a very solid, if it stands up, a very solid 92 out of 100. And the reason behind that is just, it's got so much more complexity to it compared to the 12, compared to the 15. More depth, distinctive character. Very bold, very mouth-filling. The sort of textures, the way in which it develops, and those fruity aspects are just so enjoyable. Now I know the price point of view is around about £100, and that is more than other 18-year-old whiskies that you see on the market, but for the flavour profile you're getting on this whiskey, and the fact that also it's natural colour, because most whiskies nowadays have caramel, I just feel this is a superb whiskey in itself. From the nose, my actual favourite parts of this whiskey is pretty much nose, palate and finish, because all of them are pluses in my point of view. You're pretty much setting yourself up if you're drinking this whiskey, or if you're new to whiskey. This is like a flavour roller coaster. You just go through the little bit of salty characters, you're going through that little smoky, soft smoky characters, the sweet notes, the sour note. Everything is here on this whiskey. So you're getting all of that combined into that whiskey, which I think is superb. So that's why I'm giving it 92 out of 100. Hopefully that is 92 out of 100, yep. So on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Be sure to check out the 12-year-old, which I'll leave over here, and the 15-year-old over there. You guys have enjoyed the video, but please feel free to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you'd like to who loves whiskey. Be also sure to click the subscribe button, as we're just past 200 subscribers. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to have a special unboxing video for that. But on this note, this has been Jason WhiskyWise. If you have enjoyed the video, please drop it a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the next video.